The thick manila envelope landed on Elise Morgan's desk precisely at 2:17 p.m. on Christmas Day. Her hands trembled as she recognized the law firm's embossed logo, the same firm her husband Andrew had, casually, mentioned meeting with 3 weeks prior. As snowflakes danced outside the window of their penthouse apartment, Elise opened the envelope to find divorce papers, coldly served while their guests chatted downstairs at what would be their last holiday party together. What Andrew Morgan didn't realize, as he confidently delivered his calculated Christmas surprise, was that 6 months earlier, Elise had quietly been appointed to the board of Helix Ventures, the investment firm that controlled 67% of his struggling tech company's funding. If you've ever wondered how a single moment can unravel years of trust and transform a seemingly perfect marriage into a strategic chess match, this story will take you through every emotional twist. Remember to like this video if you've ever faced betrayal or had to reinvent yourself after loss, and subscribe for more compelling real-life inspired dramas that explore the complex nature of modern relationships. Andrew Morgan had built Datasphere from his garage 10 years ago, the classic tech success story everyone admired. His marriage to Elise, a brilliant economic analyst he'd met at Stanford, had seemed equally perfect from the outside. They were the golden couple, ambitious, attractive, and apparently devoted. Their Christmas parties were legendary in Silicon Valley circles, showcasing their immaculate home and picture-perfect partnership. But perfection had started cracking long before that fateful Christmas. Andrew had grown increasingly distant over the past 2 years as Datasphere faced mounting competition and development delays. 60-hour workweeks became 90-hour marathons. Conversations shortened to brief texts. Intimacy faded to occasional courteous touches. Elise had tried everything, planning surprise weekends away, joining therapy, even offering to contribute her financial expertise to help with company struggles. Andrew had rejected each attempt, his pride unwilling to admit his perfect life was faltering. "I need space to focus on saving what I've built," he'd told her during their last real conversation in November. "You wouldn't understand the pressure I'm under." What he failed to realize was that Elise understood business pressure better than most. After years of supporting Andrew's dreams while keeping her own ambitions on a back burner, she had quietly accepted a position at Helix Ventures 6 months earlier when a former colleague recruited her. Her economic insight had quickly proven invaluable, earning her a fast promotion to the investment committee that oversaw Datasphere's funding, a connection she had chosen not to disclose to Andrew after his repeated dismissals of her professional capabilities. As Elise read through the divorce papers that Christmas afternoon, a complex wave of emotions washed over her. Heartbreak, certainly, but also a cold, clarifying anger. Andrew's filing cited irreconcilable differences and emotional abandonment, painting himself as the neglected spouse while requesting control of their joint assets, including their home and investment portfolio. Most shocking was his demand for complete privacy regarding Datasphere's operations and finances during the separation process. Downstairs, oblivious holiday music played as guests mingled with champagne flutes, unaware of the drama unfolding above them. Andrew performed his host duties flawlessly, his practiced smile never revealing that he had just destroyed his marriage with calculated precision on what should have been their happiest day of the year. Elise dried her tears and applied fresh makeup, a skill perfected through years of corporate events where appearances mattered above all. She tucked the papers into her desk and descended the spiral staircase, a vision in emerald silk, to join the party. Only the slightest tremor in her champagne glass betrayed her inner turmoil as she locked eyes with Andrew across the crowded room. "Quite a Christmas surprise you arranged," she whispered when they briefly crossed paths near the catering table. "I assume our guests aren't privy to your holiday gift to me?" Andrew's confident facade faltered momentarily. "I thought it would be easier this way. Clean break, no scenes. We can discuss terms after the holidays." "Oh, we certainly will," Elise replied, her voice steady despite the churning emotion beneath. "Perhaps we should also discuss Datasphere's upcoming funding review with Helix. Their investment committee meets January 10th, I believe." The flicker of confusion in Andrew's eyes confirmed he had no idea of her connection to his company's financial lifeline. Before he could respond, she seamlessly turned to greet an arriving guest, leaving him staring after her, the first seeds of uncertainty planted. The weeks following Christmas unfolded like a high-stakes business negotiation crossed with an emotional hurricane. Andrew's initial smugness faded quickly when his attorney discovered Elise's position at Helix Ventures. Datasphere was already walking a financial tightrope. The company had burned through its last funding round faster than projected, and the promised breakthrough in their AI technology remained frustratingly elusive. Without Helix's continued support, the company would collapse within months. What Andrew had intended as a quick, controlled divorce, one where he maintained power and protected his business interests, suddenly transformed into a precarious balancing act. His attorney advised caution. His business partners demanded answers. And for the first time in years, Andrew Morgan found himself unable to dictate terms. Elise, meanwhile, faced her own internal struggle. The betrayal cut deep, not just Andrew's decision to end their marriage, but the calculated timing and cold efficiency with which he'd done it. 15 years together discarded via legal courier on Christmas Day. Yet despite the legal leverage her position afforded, she found herself reluctant to weaponize it. Destroying Datasphere wouldn't just hurt Andrew, it would affect hundreds of employees who had nothing to do with their marital problems. You could sink his company with one board vote, her friend Mia pointed out during a tearful lunch in early January. After what he did, no one would blame you. That's exactly what he expects me to do, Elise replied, stirring her untouched soup. He's already painting me as the vindictive ex to anyone who'll listen, trying to get ahead of whatever he thinks I'll do. And what will you do? Mia asked. The question haunted Elise through sleepless nights in the downtown apartment she'd rented after moving out of their shared home. Professional ethics prevented her from directly involving herself in Helix's decisions regarding Datasphere, but her insights and recommendations carried significant weight with the investment committee. She could ensure they examined Andrew's leadership with particular scrutiny, or she could recuse herself entirely. The turning point came unexpectedly, during a routine review of Datasphere's latest project updates. Buried in the technical documentation, Elise discovered something Andrew himself might have missed, a potential application of their technology that opened entirely new markets beyond their current focus. The company wasn't failing because the technology was flawed, it was failing because Andrew's vision had become too narrow, too fixed on competing in overcrowded spaces. That night, Elise made her decision. She drafted an email requesting a formal recusal from all decisions regarding Datasphere, citing personal conflict. Then she prepared a separate, detailed market analysis of the alternative application she'd identified, submitted anonymously through Helix's innovation portal as was standard practice for preliminary concepts. When they finally met to discuss divorce terms in late January, the power dynamic had shifted in ways neither fully understood. Andrew arrived with reduced demands and an almost conciliatory approach, clearly nervous about Helix's upcoming funding decision. Elise came with clarity she hadn't possessed on Christmas Day, not just about their marriage, but about herself. "I won't fight you on the house," she said calmly as they sat across from each other in the mediator's office. "But my investment portfolio remains mine, and I want fair compensation for the years I supported your career while putting mine second." Andrew studied her with new eyes, searching for signs of the vindictive ex-wife he'd feared. "And Datasphere? What are your intentions there?" "I've recused myself from any decisions regarding your company's funding," she replied. "Whatever happens with Helix will be based on Datasphere's merits, not our personal situation." The doubt in his expression stung more than she expected. Even now, he couldn't believe she would act with integrity rather than emotion. "Why would you do that?" he finally asked. "You could destroy everything I've built." "Because destroying isn't my nature, Andrew. It's never been who I am, though you seem to have forgotten that." She met his gaze steadily. "I built things alongside you for 15 years. That's what I know how to do." February brought unexpected developments for both of them. Helix Ventures announced a continued but restructured investment in Datasphere, contingent on the company exploring new applications, including the very market opportunity Elise had anonymously identified. Andrew was required to accept a co-CEO with more diverse product experience, a condition that would have been unthinkable to him months earlier but now represented a lifeline he gratefully accepted. Elise, having fully disclosed her personal connection to all relevant parties, accepted a promotion to head Helix's Emerging Technologies division, a role that would keep her entirely separate from Datasphere's portfolio management but would finally utilize her full potential. Their divorce finalized quietly in March, without the acrimony both had initially expected. As Elise signed the final papers, she reflected on the irony that Andrew's Christmas betrayal had ultimately forced her to claim the professional identity she had subdued throughout their marriage. Freedom came in unexpected forms. By the following Christmas, both their lives had transformed entirely. Datasphere, under shared leadership, had successfully pivoted to its new market approach, with Andrew finding unexpected satisfaction in a more collaborative executive role. Elise had built her division at Helix into a respected incubator for innovative technologies, her natural talent for nurturing potential finally directed toward worthy projects rather than a one-sided marriage. They encountered each other at an industry conference that December, the first time they'd been in the same room since finalizing their divorce. The initial awkwardness dissolved into surprisingly comfortable conversation about their respective professional challenges. "I never properly thanked you," Andrew said as they prepared to part ways. "For not doing what I would have done in your position." Elise smiled, recognizing both his admission and how much she had changed since the previous Christmas. "Sometimes the best revenge is simply becoming who you were always meant to be." She walked away without looking back, her steps confident on a path entirely her own. The Christmas lights illuminating the conference center seemed brighter somehow, markers of a season that now represented not an ending, but a beginning she had created for herself. Life rarely offers perfect justice or complete resolution. Relationships end, sometimes painfully, leaving both parties forever changed. But in that change lies the possibility of growth, of discovering strengths previously hidden and building something new from the remnants of what was lost. Elise and Andrew's story wasn't about winners and losers in the wake of betrayal, but about two people finding their separate ways forward, guided by choices that ultimately reflected who they truly were. And sometimes, that's the most inspiring ending of all, not the dramatic revenge or perfect justice we might initially crave, but the quiet triumph of becoming more fully ourselves after weathering loss. For in that transformation lies our greatest power, not the ability to destroy what hurt us, but the courage to create something better in its place.